Tonight, charges are laid against a woman for defrauding a Vaughan company. Markham's Unionville MPP Michael Chan is stepping aside, and the town of East Gwillimbury has been named the top employee recommended workplace. Chances of flurry, East Pearson +3, North +1. This update is brought to you by Frank Cotolo on 148.ca/TV. Frank learns about tablets, the video on 148.ca/TV. I'm Philip Pong from SR National News Now. Here's a bunch of folks who do watch TV, but they'd rather do radio. Here's Ray Cotolo and Rod and Mike with North American Harness Update. I can see them on captions on TV. I just don't remember the names because it's TV. Now on SR 20th Anniversary SRN1.
The starter has called the field to the gate.
I followed along with every word of that, Phil.
This field is in motion and approaching the start. And they're off. And it's a battle into the first turn for control. The battle continues by the half and approaching the far turn. Stride for stride past the three-quarter pole and approaching the top of the stretch. And as they hit the top of the stretch, it's mission brief. Foiled again, Muscle Hill, Captain Treacherous and Vegas Vacation, Lucky Jim, a rock and roll dance, Be a Magician, Sebastian K approaches the line. Guccio is coming late, and as they hit the wire, it's too close to call.
Now here's North American Harness Update on SRN1.
Sometimes it's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is you can't say that in most places, and everybody sucks. And then whatever else Fred Durst said in the song of a generation that spoke to the hearts and minds of all the 20-somethings that really wanted to feel 10 again. Just, I sometimes just feel like quoting Limp Bizkit. And that time includes now, starting off North American Harness Update, the first show of April 2018. Can you believe it's been almost 5 full years since we've been here on SRN1? 5 whole years. I forget the fact that last year I graduated high school, and now here we are 5 years later, still doing this show in the exact same setting, and I guess more dapperly dressed. I'm going to bring on my co-hosts here for the next 2 hours, because that's how long this show is for how long as it's been. Mike Pribozie, Rod Allums Jr. joining me now. And guys, I have to say, this is the longest I have gone attempting to grow some semblance of facial hair. And I looked in the mirror today when I was getting dressed, and I thought to myself, you know, I really look like Jack Ruby right now, so I should just go full force into just that look. And so I pulled out a sports coat, and I'm ready to just go boogie nighting anytime. I got a Saturday night fever on a Friday evening. Fever. But how are you guys doing?
Great. We were good. I think we were all good up until somebody's like.
Okay, so we got echoes, we got people that are doing badly, and I blame Mercury because it's in retrograde right now, and it's really messing with everyone's heads. I don't know what it is, but it's like the planets radiate just bad juice. What is it, Rod?
London's going in 2 minutes.
London's going in 2 minutes? They really sped things up. That said, we have tickets up on Twitter going up in 1 minute. I timed that somewhat well, and they'll be going up on Facebook momentarily. So for lack of time,
I wonder if they're going to have a delay with the snow, Rod. This could be.
Wait, yeah, because usually by 1 minute, we're seeing the paddock. But right now, I'm seeing that tonight's races are sponsored by Equistro, which, if I'm not mistaken, is a restaurant with purely horse chefs.
Behind, because I'm seeing the paddock.
Well, I'm seeing the paddock now, too.
Horses walking out.
Okay, well, that said, we have our graphics going up on Twitter in probably 20 seconds. They'll be going up on Facebook the moment I get a chance to stop talking. And that said, what we should do, because we don't have much time, is run through our tickets, note any key races or key horses that we have, and then we'll move on from there. So Rod, start us off. You have you have the largest ticket of all of us. Why?
Because I think that's what you need to hit it. This race, I thought was pretty wide open, 5 deep here, going 1, 2, 4, 6, and 8. I don't have a big opinion on anything in here. There's obviously a few horses in here that I thought you could toss, but with the way the track's playing, it was front end early. Now you don't know because a snowstorm just came in. But my key in the pick 4 is the second leg, race number 8. Number 8, Ty's Little Dream, gets a huge driver change from Peter Hamilton to Rob Shepard. I think this horse, even though this horse is 0 for 44, the driver change is going to wake this horse back up, and I expect a big effort.
All right, and your entire ticket. Give your entire ticket.
My entire ticket: 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 with 8 with 2, 4, 5, 8 with everybody.
Now there is no everybody button. So for those of you betting, you just want to hit all. There's not going to be an everybody. It's too many characters, and I should know because that's how I've been described most times. Mikey, your ticket for this sequence.
Well, I disagree quite a bit with Rod. I don't know how you can key a horse that's like 1 for 80, but I mean, I'm not sure. I don't care if Jesus is getting in the bike. I'm still going to play against. I like 2, 4, 8 in the first race. I thought the 2 was good last time. The 4 was in a terrible spot and raced okay. I think this horse is going to get a much easier trip. I'm not really a fan of the 6 in here. I'm going to use the 8, though, because I just like that Harris gets an inside draw. I'm going to be 1-7 in the second leg. The 1 should be tough. Was 1-9 last time, third back. Likely favored in there. Going to be tough to beat. But I'm going to use the 7 also, just because of that race 2 back. This horse, got a perfect trip, but raced way better and woke up. And then last time was good in a race where the closers dominated. I'm going on like 3. Really have no huge opinion in there. And then I'm going to use 4 horses in the last race. The 3, who was decent off the bench and, draws inside again. The 6, Apple Tart Hanover. This horse has a lot of speed and, likely will get the front. Comes back off Woodbine off a solid try. Then the outside 2, the 8, Putnam's Fire, won last time by nose in the perfect trip, but draws inside with Harris. And the 9, Fernhill Bella. Is a little bit of a closer and always seems to be right there. So I'll try that one. So my entire ticket, I have the 2, 4, 8 with the 1, 7 with all with 3, 6, 8, 9 with the scratch. It's 33.60. I did play.
Now this is the point in the night because this usually happens every week where I realize that I am unable to read. My illiteracy is dumbfounding. For the graphics that I made, I did Mike's early pick 4 instead of the late.
Great.
So again,
hit, by the way.
It did hit for $50-something on a $19 ticket. However, I have NahooPicks.com pulled up where you can find other racing analysis, not just pertinent to Western Fair. And I will again read off those numbers in case you're playing along with Mike. His late pick 4 ticket is 248 with 1-7 with all with 3, 6, 8, 9. $38.40 for 20 cents. A minute 40 to go. As for me, I know this is my pick 4 ticket because I didn't handicap the early pick 4. I'm 3-6 with 1-8 with 1-2-5 with 1-3-4-8. $9.60. It seems like another one of those sequences where you don't necessarily have to go too deep, especially since we've been following these horses. I'm starting to feel like I get a grasp of what these horses are capable of, and unless one of them just totally blows me away tonight, I don't really see much surprise happening. But I also said that when 2 prices won the first 2 legs last week, and I didn't have them, so I have no idea what to really believe anymore. However, if Jesus Christ was in one of these sulkies, I think I would have a reason to believe. We're getting ready to go to the gate for this opening leg in the snow. Mighty Mouse is 9-5. He's coming off a win last week at this level. And from an outside post, do you guys feel like he's deserving of that favoritism, or would you go elsewhere?
I didn't use him.
Okay, fair enough.
Like the post.
Go ahead, Mike.
I just didn't use. I mean, I'm not a fan.
I used her just because, she's won 4 out of 9 races this year, hit the board in 6 starts. She's sharp right now. That's really the key with her.
She kind of needs things to go her way, though, and I'm not sure that she's going to be able to have that here. So that's the only reason I didn't. And I was trying to get a price anyway, and that's another thing. So I like the 2 at 10 to 1 for sure.
I do too. I really like the 2 at 10 to 1.
From this camera angle, it looks like the starter car is trying to run away from the horses, but inevitably the horses will catch them. That was the most anticlimactic horror movie I've seen in a while, ever since Paranormal Activity. Woo! They won't sponsor us, but who cares? They're lining up. Why would we want to be sponsored by them? They don't even make it. They've made 6 of them, right? There's like 6 Paranormal Activity movies. There's no need for another. They're lining up. 8-5 now on the 4, Jeremiah's Jewel. 5-2 on the 6, Mighty Mouse. 5-1 on TR Lexus Cam. Field in stride, often pacing. TR Lexus Cam from the inside leaves out. Nadia can go too. She's a star reporter. Getting away third in front of Jeremiah's Jewel as they move around that first turn. Gapping the start there was Hawaiian Drummond, relegated to the back of the field as TR Lexus Cam loses the lead to the backstretch to Jeremiah's Jewel. Jeremiah's Jewel strides clear by about 2 lengths as they breeze down the snowy backstretch. Nadia can go paces third. She's a star reporter back fourth. Wada Sassy Girls then pacing 5th. Mighty Mouse 6th in front of Sergeant Neil Green Beret. Last of all, rounding out this group, Hawaiian Drummond through a 29-4 opening quarter, circling the turn. Jeremiah's Jewel sent off 3-2. Leads by a length and a half. TR Lexus Cam drafts from the pocket. Nadia can go up close third, 2.5 lengths off the lead. She's a star reporter as they turn into the stretch, sits 4th. No one moving out until Nadia can go is pulled first over, carrying She's a Star Reporter on cover. Then it's back to Wada Sassy Girl, gapping a touch 5th. Outside of her, Mighty Mouse. Then they're followed by Sergeant Neil Green Beret and Hawaiian Drummond in the back of the field, 1 minute and 2. The halfway time as they circle the clubhouse turn, 1 circuit to go. Jeremiah's Jewel unpressured on the lead. In second, TR Lexus Cam matching strides with Nadia Can Go, who's now progressing first over, up to the leader's wheel, and that's where she'll stay. She's stagnant as they move on to 3/4. On cover, She's a Star Reporter 4th, locked in 5th. Wada Sassy Girl 3 high from the back and rolling. Mighty Mouse with about 3.5 lengths to make up. 3/4 and 130 flat around that final turn. Jeremiah's Jewel still in front. Outside, Nadia Can Go. Coming and gaining ground, Mighty Mouse is in a blind switch. She's a Star Reporter, then needing room to the inside. TR Lexus Cam turning for home, still in front. Jeremiah's Jewel. She's holding sway over Nadia Can Go to the outside. TR Lexus Cam looks for room at the rail. Then off cover, She's a Star Reporter and Mighty Mouse late, but Jeremiah's Jewel holding on, and Jeremiah's Jewel narrowly over Nadia Can Go. She's a Star Reporter towards the center of the track, third. All right, so the horse, and I didn't get to say this because we didn't have time to talk about these races for some reason, even though every other week we kind of have time to talk about these races. You can tell I'm a bit annoyed. Jeremiah's Jewel did not expect to wire him, but when left alone like that, she can kind of wire him, and that's exactly what she did.
Why did you expect that?
Why did I expect that? Because
what was she going to do in the race?
Last week she didn't do it.
She couldn't get there because she was in a really tough spot. I mean, she was never making the front last week with that post, and she was in a lot tougher in there, I thought.
Well, I mean, it was a similar field, almost.
Well, I had the top 4 and the shortest price one, so...
You know what that means, Rod?
The one hung terribly. I don't know how the horse didn't win the race. And the 2 got blind switched, and that was another problem, but, you know.
This is a running theme with Nadia Can Go, though. The one thing she cannot, in fact, do, ironically, is go. She is, what, at this point, 0 for 12 this year. But she's all she's
Everybody alive, yeah? You alive, right?
No, I'm not. I'm out.
Oh, you're junk.
Did you just call me junk?
Yeah.
I'll have you.
Knows.
I'll have you know. I'll have you know, because Rod's words were not coherent. They did not make noise. Well, no, they did make noise, but they weren't cohesive. Cohesive?
Well, they can hear me on the feed, so...
Well, I can hear you now. So it seems like that's a win-win. Actually, no, I hear you, so it's a
Ray,
win-lose.
you look like a thrift shop pimp in that jacket.
You know,
It's a good look.
Jack Ruby, thrift shop pimp. Is there really a difference?
I just thought of that.
Shout out to Terry Wilson commenting on the feed on Facebook right now.
Okay.
I'm just
He's always
joining.
watching us. He's always watching. What do you think, Terry? Ray looking like a pimp?
The thrift shop pimp.
I think you should change your Twitter handle to @thriftshopPimp.
And then I'll just tweet out gifs all the time of when your girl come home and she all whacked, and it's gonna be a picture of like a duckling tripping on its fins.
This suits you so much. You have no idea. This needs to be like an every week Rod wearing the glasses type thing. This has to be now. This cannot stop.
Well, I mean,
This has to be.
seeing as my chest hair is not really coming in, I agree. I like this look. If I was more hairy, I wouldn't really. I don't like the look of being like a Croatian man. Nothing against Croatian men, but like I'm a silky
We have
boy.
a question for you, Ray.
Okay.
Did you have a court appearance today?
Please tell me the name of the person again so I can adjust my response accordingly.
Terry Wilson.
Okay, not my lawyer. No. That's my answer. I got nothing else to say to that. Why would I want to dress up for a court appearance like I'm guilty? That just seems counterintuitive.
Right now.
Butter up.
But that's for bathhouses, not for court appearances.
Uh-oh. Let's not go there.
I don't want to go there. I want to go to nightclubs where I can do the boogie. Actually, I have a good story about this jacket, which I just found out about this. Rod, again,
Like
you're still
disco.
Rod. You don't like disco?
No, actually, my aunt listens to disco 24/7. That's why I don't like it.
That's impossible because for at least 8
I
hours
listen
of
to every-
for at least 8 hours of those day and for a total of 56 hours a week, she has to be sleeping. So she can't be listening to it 24/7 unless she dreams of disco. Which, by the way, Dreams of Disco is the name of my new novel that's coming out. And then we're going to be turning it into a movie starring Steve Buscemi. So this sports coat, right?
By the way, I think she's watching right now too.
The sports coat, right? I don't care. Dreams of Disco is a great title. It should be a horse name. I don't care. Don't steal it. And if you do steal it, I'll find you in court. I'm dressed for it. The sports coat, right? There's a picture in the studio, in this very well kept studio of cleaning supplies, towels on cassettes.
Next to the Thieves Turnpike sign.
To be fair, the Turnpike didn't want it anymore, so we just took it. And over on this side, you can't see, and also for those on the radio, you can't see, period. So if I were to walk over just a couple feet, there's this little section of pictures from back when my dad was in Hollywood, because my dad was in Hollywood. And by the way, I know he hasn't been by the last couple weeks, but Frank Cotolo said he will be on the show tonight. He's promised me, and it's just going to be whenever he comes by, he will be on. He promised. So there's these pictures, right? And there's one picture of him in this exact sports coat. I was trying to figure out if it was this one, and it is. Talking with... Actually, I'll give you guys a guess. Who do you think my dad was talking to?
I don't know.
Rod? Rod? Who's he talking to? Who could my dad possibly talk to? It's not the Pope. I'll let you guys... It's not the Pope. Not the Pope.
Well, if it wasn't the Pope, then it doesn't matter.
I mean, I'd agree with that.
Hoping
However,
the story gets somewhere quickly.
the second most likely person besides the Pope is George Martin.
Yeah, I would have got that.
the Beatles producer, George Martin. My dad was wearing this exact sports coat when he interviewed him.
Great.
And so now here I am making myself look stupid in it on a harness racing podcast.
Looking fly, brother. Looking fly.
I mean, did I say looking stupid's a bad thing? That's like my entire brand. That's why my handle on Twitter is Raymond J. Israel Esquire.
Oh, my God. It needs to be Thrift Shop Pimp.
look, it's not gonna be thrift shop pimp ever. Just gonna
Yeah, you know why? Because you don't know how to have fun. You know.
wait. What committee determined that that's fun?
Ray, why do you look Chinese without your glasses?
I don't really know how to answer that without, being arrested. But
Bro.
what do you mean? No. I don't know. I look like a normal person. I took them off specifically to kind of add on to the disco aesthetic I got going right now. But at the same time, when we start talking about races, I will not be able to see what's going on. I'm sacrificing my brains for my looks, as you do when you're an 18-year-old something jerk.
I'm trying to grow Ray's fro like out the front of my face right now.
You should share some of it with him.
Mike has not shaved for as long as I have, and for some reason he looks like he could go mining for gold in Alaska, and I just look like a guy who runs a comic book store. Like, I don't understand genetically how this works.
Tonight. I mean, this jacket has been like a 15-minute segment in itself.
Well, I mean, like, if they can make a 2-hour movie about a girl with a dragon tattoo, why can't I do 15 minutes about a jacket?
That's a good movie, actually.
That is a good movie.
I have
2.5 hours.
I have not seen it, and Rod, if you round down, it's 2 hours. Even though you're supposed to round up, I did not ask you, sir. I like pointing out to people that aren't in the audience tonight. I did not ask you, sir. It's fun acting like there's an audience, especially when you hear them and they're clapping and applauding. You actually feel like you're doing something good, and your parents don't resent you. So, coming up here at London, how many minutes are we to London? 'Cause I can't read, so I have no idea what's going on.
We have 7 minutes till London, race 8. And guess who the play of the day is?
The play of the day is
My single. You're all seeing it right now.
Currently 35-1.
That'd be a great single if it comes in, but if it doesn't, just not a good one. I don't really know what else there'd be to say that.
Listen, if this horse wins, just so everyone knows, I'll eat the program.
So, needless to say, we want this 8 to win because Mike's diet has been high in protein and high in just non-fiber foods that he needs this. He needs this. Mike, as your gastroenterologist, I would highly recommend that this 8 win the race purely for your health.
I don't know. I tend to eliminate the losers. I know what Rod's getting at. And if this horse had won a few races, I would be interested, but I'm just not.
Well,
This field's not good.
me and Terry agree.
This field is not good, though.
Terry and I have the 8-1 exacta.
Yeah, and Terry and Rod are going to be getting married.
Maybe Terry can replace me on the show.
Wait, really?
Somebody's hater-mythic today.
Rod, you keep saying words that just, for whatever reason, do not go with me.
I don't think anything really does.
What? So this race
I
at
don't think
London's
anything
coming up.
does with you.
This race at London's coming up. I forgot you're here, and I gotta put on my glasses because I gotta contribute to this conversation in some way without just me talking about disco and doo-wop music. Okay, here we go. I had this, for some reason I was like writing this bit. I was riffing in my mirror because, as you guys know, I have so many friends, including myself, and I was just riffing in my mirror. And for some reason, as I was dressed up like Jack Ruby, I started acting like I was a telemarketer for a disco. And I was thinking, like, at my discotheque, this was the voice I gave myself, at my discotheque, you get not the standard hip-hop music, no siree. You can get Marvin Gaye with a synthesizer at my discotheque for 2 installments of $19.95. But if you call now, at this very second, that's just passed by, so you better hope your number's in. You better hope your number's in. We're going to throw in Aretha Franklin with a sousaphone. And all for 5 payments of $6.96 Canadian plus shipping and handling. I'm like really into this prospector mood for some reason. Mike's a gold miner. I was going to say Huckleberry Finn, but Huckleberry Finn's not a prospector. He's just a southerner. But this next race at London, aside from my discotheque business, which I'll be starting, or North American Discotheque update, which will be premiering after our Vernon show April 20th. Don't forget about that. April 20th, we're live from Vernon, New York. I may be wearing this sports coat. Who knows?
You have to. If you don't show up in it, I'm beating you to death.
I really hope my lawyer's listening tonight now. But this next race at London, Mike, I honestly had no idea how to approach this race because I liked absolutely nothing in it. So for you to have such a firm hold against this 8-horse, to me makes it sound like you got a bit of an idea of how this race is going to go, and I'm curious what that is.
Well, the one sitting on the rails, third time back, just missed last time. With you remember this race, Rod? That was the 50-1 shot, and this horse couldn't get out the entire way around at 1-9 or whatever off the scratch.
Yeah, yep.
And now draws the rail again. You know, your horse was in that race too. Has the rail, is gonna be the one to catch. The question is the horse gonna be driven aggressively? I mean, and the 7 is just better than these. Has been facing better fields. Look at that. Holly's Justice, Princess Julianne, all those horses would be 1-9 in this race. There's no question about that. And then 1-2 back in a race really the horse had no business winning. This horse's speed from the outside should be able to control this race. So, and I get the driver change on the 8, but the horse is 1 for 72. I mean, and has had spots like this before that, should have been able to capitalize on and just never seems to go by. So I can't, and is getting the second tier. And that's another issue.
Behind the 1.
In the snow. So, you saw the last race, the horse in the second tier was 5 lengths behind the damn gate.
Mm-hmm.
I want nothing to do with it. I'm 1-7.
I don't.
80.
Mm-hmm. Go.
I just said I'm 8.
Well, we knew that to begin with. You don't really have a very mature
What
personality.
would you like besides the driver change?
On the 8?
Yeah.
The horse has been right there every single week. He was first over last week.
First over,
Got
2
beat
starts
on
back.
Quarter.
First over against the 50-1 and dropped anchor.
So, still first
This is
over.
a 4.5 second driver change. This horse might go in 56 tonight.
Is that all it takes?
Oh my God.
So, if Peter Hamilton was driving Always Be Mickey, that horse couldn't go 55 then.
I might have beat him.
Yeah.
Look, my point is that I would be 1-9 in this race. This isn't a good race. I could outrun any of these. Mike can take my word for it. I could outrun any of these horses. Because before we went to Indiana, the morning of going to Indiana, Mike and I were out running marathons. And Mike, you just remember how much I creamed you. I destroyed you that morning.
Right. Can we tell the actual story, or do you want to
I'm just trying to spice it up a bit and in my favor because that's in all honesty how it went down.
Yeah. Well, Ray was good the first mile. Like, he was trashing me, and I'm like, well, we got to go around 2 more miles, and he's like, what? And then he sat down.
He's a quitter.
No, I didn't quit. I was so far ahead that I thought I should stop here to let Mike catch up.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's what happened.
Exactly. And then we got into the car, and 6.5 hours later, we were at Hoosier Park. 6.5 hours later. Oh.
And he lost to an old man.
No, you lost to a young boy.
No. Not true.
Play the
You're
tape.
just like this 8-horse, 1 for 72. That's what you would be against me.
72 was a good year, if you could not tell by my getup. Ho, 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 staying alive. Why are they called the Bee Gees? Why aren't they named like the CFs? Why are they the Bee Gees and not the AEs? Wait. Oh, it'd be the AFs. Why are they called the Bee Gees?
By the way, you see who's suddenly 5-1?
Ty's little.
You're gonna get 3 to 1. You might get less.
Yeah, 3 to 1's not worth it on this horse. I liked him at 13, but not at 5.
There's only really 3 horses in the race.
Yeah, 8 all.
Well, I feel like I should know that.
I love this horse.
Going to call it.
I'm hoping this horse better snap a right front coming out of the.
Rod, does Terry know you love this horse? Because I feel like he'd feel cheated.
He said, "I'm right."
Yeah, but
Thank God Terry's watching.
I'm.
And Terry also said
Because Rod would have no friends otherwise.
Terry also said Brothers Gibb.
Ah, yes.
Oh, that's why.
Brothers Gibb.
Oh my God, that's why. Oh, that's right. Because that was like the Sacha Baron Cohen movie that came out a couple of years ago. The Brothers Gibbsby. Yeah.
No.
What do you mean no? They wrote all the children's
would you play
fables.
This pick 3 at London, since you like this 5 to 1 shot.
It's probably worth playing, actually.
I mean, if you like that horse, I do, but I think it's very much worth playing. Especially since you like Long going forward.
I
You
don't.
need to punch a few tickets.
I need to punch a few
the problem
bags.
is my ticket is, I guess, a large ticket for
Bad?
pick 3.
Oh. Right.
It's a
Well,
large
but if you're keying the 8 in the first, it can't be that big.
Yeah, just make sure no one see you do it. You don't want to be caught
Fine, one of
keying.
the races. What are you using the other though? Like 3?
It's $36.
That's okay. If you think it's going to pay 300,
Well, the
I'm okay
problem
with
is
that.
there's 20
I
cent,
got no problem with that bet whatsoever.
but there's 20 centers, and I hate 20-cent pick 3s.
I do too. But you're starting with a horse that's the third choice.
I
and
mean,
you're using all in a race, so you would expect, I would think, to at least get $200 out of it for $1. I mean, that's your expected lowest return.
Well,
That's why it's worth playing.
with a minute and 40 seconds to go, I think the lesson here is that if you're prepared to drop $30 on a 20-cent pick 3, you would be much better off just giving the money to me.
For $1.
Not a 20-cent pick 3, $1.
Just give the money to me. Hey, I got interests to protect.
Rod, tell him.
you don't play 20-cent pick 3s.
No, he's playing for $1.
You sound like that guy. You sound like that guy at the bar. I'd like an appletini. No, you're not getting an appletini. You're gonna get a triple shot of Jägermeister. And it's like, but I like appletinis. No, you're a Jaeger guy now. I know this.
So there's this
Okay.
there's this little short video clip, about a minute and a half long, I watched the other day. We got about 45 seconds till this race.
Okay. Indulge me.
I saw this little video clip, and it's this guy walks in to the bar. He walks up to the bartender and says he wants, I forget what it was. It was like a Jack and Coke or something.
Okay.
And the guy gives him an apple. So he takes a bite of the apple, and the guy's like, oh, this tastes like Jack. So the guy flips it around. Oh, this tastes like Coke. So the next guy comes up, he orders another drink, same thing. One side had one thing, the other side had the other. So then the third guy walks in, and he goes to order one. He's thinking about it. I can't finish the joke, but you're going to have to look it up because radio edit.
That's one of my favorite things to do. Like when I'm doing an open mic and I'm doing a set, I love to just build the setup and then say, I'm sorry, my time is up. You're going to have to go onto my website to find the punchline. That's www.rayjokes.net. And you could also subscribe to my newsletter and my vlog.
Terry Wilson's drinking Jaeger right now.
He must be picking the 8.
I mean, I was sober and drinking the 8.
Dan
I was.
he bet 20 to win on the 6 here.
I just said.
All 6.
I'm with that. That's a good bet. 13 to 1.
I
don't
just.
Good bet.
I
Bet
just.
on the 6 if you like.
I just said I was sober and drinking the 8. I was sober and I picked the 8. How can I be drunk on a 12-day beard and maybe $80 sports coat?
They're going.
I know they're going. They're lining up. They're not even at the top of the stretch yet, Rod. This entire call is going to be vindicative towards you. This is the I Hate Rod Allums race call. They're in motion at the start, and they're off and trotting. Lucrative Sun from the far outside with the most speed. A whole lot of sass out, too. Majestic Streak gets away third. Burning Memories fourth into that turn. Ty's Little Dream from the second tier gets away fifth. Sixth then coming to that opening quarter. Wide there. Blue Frost, Ballykeel, and it's back to Barbie Doll as they move on to the opening quarter here in front. Lucrative Sun out of second, a whole lot of sass, striding a touch, now ducking back into the pocket. Majestic Streaks third, Burning Memories back fourth, Ty's Little Dream fifth, then sixth comes Showboat Sealster, followed by Barbie Doll and Blue Frost Ballykeel 29, and 4/5 for the opening quarter. 8-5 shot number one, Lucrative Sun leads into the turn, whole lot of sass second. 8-5 shot number two, Majestic Streaks third, about 3 lengths off the lead. There's a gap of 2.5 to Burning Memories fourth. Into the lane first time, Ty's Little Dream back fifth, leading Showboat Sealster, then Barbie Doll, and wide from the back, Blue Frost Ballykeel as they move on to the half, chasing Lucrative Sun, leading by 2 off a 1 minute 3/5 half as they move around that clubhouse turn. Out of third, here comes Majestic Streak, advancing towards the leader. A whole lot of sass still second as they move on to the backstretch, chasing Lucrative Sun. He's got a head start on him, 3.5 in front of Majestic Streak, moving up to take second from a whole lot of sass. A gap of 3 now to Burning Memories third, moving outside Ty's Little Dream from fifth, and it's a gap back to Blue Frost Ballykeel with Showboat Sealster and Barbie Doll 1:30 and 4 the 3/4 time. Lucrative Sun maintaining the lead, long-legged and stretching out. A whole lot of sass chases second. Third then to the inside, Majestic Streak advancing on the outside. Ty's Little Dream fourth as they turn for home. Still to catch Lucrative Sun. He's got 2.5 lengths advantage turning for home. Second then a whole lot of sass. Deeper on the track, Ty's Little Dream. Majestic Streak to the inside, done. Lucrative Sun into the final 16th, holding on. A whole lot of sass, lunging late. Lucrative Sun, a whole lot of sass, got him. A whole lot of sass pops out and slingshots to victory. Lucrative Sun second, Ty's Little Dream third.
I want to know how the 7 loses a race from there.
It's hard to wire a field from the 7 hole.
No, he was gone.
Wait, let's take a look at this horse's
Somehow
best
he
performance.
comes to a absolute walk in the last freaking 3 strides and still almost won the race.
I mean, he did that last time out. Oh wait, I don't know if you have this marked in your program, but I bought the super.
Did the 8 win? I just want to know if the 8 won.
He was close.
5-second driving change.
Yeah, that was a pretty average drive that he got in that race right there.
You know, 203 at London is like 156 at London, so I got the second change perfectly. No, but I bought the super premium past performances, Mike. I paid $30.
He didn't even try, Rod. That's the problem.
Can't do this bit.
Huh?
He didn't even move the horse to the last, like.
I know. It was a terrible drive.
Oh my.
That's it. It was the drive. But you see,
Right. Listen. The drive lost the race for the 8.
Yeah.
Mike, you can back me up on that.
Absolutely. I thought it the whole way.
He sat,
I did.
sat, and had no intention of moving until the 3/4
Right.
pole.
To the last like couple feet, and then he went. But that wasn't.
I mean, off that
Actually,
trip.
the 2 should have never been anywhere near it because the 8 should have been moving way earlier in the race. That's. I mean.
And by the way, I do want to say Sugar Doyle had this horse as his spot play on our website.
And that's NahooPicks.com. Well, you see, guys, I have the super ultimate past performances that I paid $30 for. And what's really great about these is I was looking at the 7 Lucrative Sun. You guys must not have this note. It just said not gonna win. So that's how I knew not to use this guy. And you know, it was really worth my money putting down all of that to not get an 8-5 shot. However, it did not say that the 2 was going to win, so in all honesty, I feel kind of gypped.
The 2 actually looks better now that I look back. Obviously when it's over, it's easy, but, I like this driver, second back. The race at Flamborough wasn't horrible. He could have been used.
The thing that I really should have been on top of, because this is actually an angle that I really like, is when, especially considering, look at this too, first time in a month, goes for 85, moves up in price. That's usually a good sign.
But this is an easier race than that one was. I can tell you that right now.
Well, yeah, with
I
the
don't
whole,
care what the prices are, with the conditions and things. That was a tougher race than this one.
anytime you see Cream Puff McDaddy, you just go, whoa, what a race. I want to know where that name came from.
They went 2 minutes and 3/5 there. In that race, there's nothing that can go anywhere near that in this race.
2 minutes, 3 5, nothing can go near.
I just missed it. That's just my fault.
I followed those words, and they made sense in my brain. What else made sense in my brain is my brain froze. Please reboot and install Windows 98. Reinstall Windows 98, because that's what my brain runs on. For some reason, that's also like most of. Actually, no. I forget if the military runs on Windows 98 or Windows XP. It's kind of funny, actually.
What else do we have tonight?
Tonight on the show, because we never really got to talk about it, because London decided to be running 10 minutes early for some reason. We got second hour of the show. We got the Meadowlands late pick 4, $50,000 guaranteed pool. I was so close to hitting it last week, but then Jacks Are Lucky 2 decided, you know what? I haven't been doing so well for a while. Let's win tonight, and he did. He won at like 5-2, which is an awful price on him, but he still won. I was 3 of 4 in that pick 4. You can tell I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I'm a peaceful guy. That's why I'm dressed up like I'm dressed up like Tony Soprano. You know, I'm a nice guy.
Tony Soprano never dressed like that.
Tony Soprano. All right. How do you know, Mr. Midwestern? I am half-blooded Italian. That's why my hands are so cold, because the other half is Irish, and that's where my hands are. And
you don't look either.
what do you mean I don't look either?
And why is everybody
Rod, everyone's echoing because your eardrums are slowly collapsing in on themselves. How do I not look Italian?
You don't.
What do you mean? Are you Italian, Mikey? Well, you have to be. Pribozie sounds like an Italian name.
No. German.
Oh, Pribozie! Okay, yeah, okay. It sounds right now. Pribozie! That didn't sound right then. But,
there's the Mike Pribozie right there.
Yeah. I just gotta share this piece of information with everyone watching the show, because it was one of the most genuine laughs I've had in so long. Rod, all right, on Snapchat. I'm friends with him on Snapchat. You're not friends with him on Snapchat unless you're friends with him on Snapchat, in which case I'm wrong. You posted one of the funniest things that you did not even think was funny, which made it really funny. So basically, the video, you're just driving your car, and there's hip hop playing on the radio, and then you stop the car. Oh, whatever. I'm telling the story. I'm telling it from my perspective, because this is how I saw it was funny. So you have rap playing, and you turn your car off. I'm going, wait, where's he go? Why is he videotaping this in the first place? So right off the bat, I'm engaged, and so then you go, you know where we are, and I'm going, no, I don't. I'm trying to figure that out, and then the camera slowly pans out as you open the car, and then it moves up, and it just says Domino's. You go, yeah.
I really like Domino's.
No, nobody really likes Domino's like that.
Oh my god.
Not only like
I need to be on Snapchat to get this.
This just riveting content. Because, like,
it's funny because I can picture him doing it.
Yeah. When you say you know where we are, I'm thinking like, okay, we're at a baseball game, or we're somewhere notable. Not Domino's Pizza. not at a. I don't expect you to be going about a place that 3 out of 5 chain locations fail the health inspection.
Not that one. It's new.
This is a good one.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, the Domino's that fail the health inspection actually have the most flavor. Figure that one out.
it's easy to figure out.
It should be, because I thought I worded that fairly poorly. But if you guys got it, then you guys got it. I was thinking about this today because I was thinking about a lot of things today because, my mind moves a lot. My mind is a rolling boulder down a hill, and that's probably the best way to describe it because I'm constantly falling, and I'm just in constant motion. I'm moving fast. And today was opening day at Keeneland, and this is another one of those moments where I was kind of just like riffing to myself because, again, I have so many friends, but because it's a Friday afternoon, they're all busy. They're doing their own thing, so it's like if I gotta talk to myself. And I was thinking, it's like I always wanted to be like that guy that knows nothing about racing that goes to Keeneland, because that's about half the people that end up going to Keeneland, and you could tell just by the people they have up on the screen. But like I'm kind of dressed up like one of those frat bros from the University of Kentucky that would just go on 20-year-old beer night. Not to say like they're drinking 20-year-old beers, but
have a big college crowd there.
Yeah, because it's in Louisville, right?
Yeah, well, it's in Lexington.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's in Lexington, which University of Kentucky I think is in Lexington, or it's not in Louisville. Yeah, it's in Lexington. But you get like all these preppy people in their dad's slim fit tuxedos that are basically just downing Fantas, and they know nothing about racing to begin with. And so I thought, like, what if I wanted to be that guy who drove 6.5 hours down to Keeneland, and it's like I walk in, I know nothing about racing, and I go up to the teller and I just say, I want to buy a horse, and then they just look at me and they go, wait, what? You can't buy a horse. And me being the rich kid from college, I just pull out a 20, I just kind of slide it in. I go, I want to buy a horse. And then he looks at me, he's like, sir, that's not how this works. You can't buy horses here. And then so what I do, of course, then I pull out another 20 because I know money talks. I put it down, I slide it under the little metal grate, and I go, I want to buy a horse. And he's going, I'll take this money, but like you can't buy horses like this. So then I have one more card up my sleeve, and that card is a George Washington. Slide that under, $41, and then he just says to me, "All right, what horse do you want to buy?" Like I have just these dumb images that go through, and I do mean dumb because people right now are listening and they're going, "Wait, what, he felt the need to tell us about this?" I felt the need to tell myself about this. And so,
really, I don't even know.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's my point. Like this.
Thank God there's a race going at the Meadowlands I can entertain myself with.
This is what's going. This is how my head runs on a daily basis. I'm writing these dumb scenes in my head, all involving me because I'm not smart at all. And so I'm obviously the lead in all these. Kind of like how Woody Allen just purposely writes these awkward archetypes into all of his movies that somehow get really hot women in the end. I don't know how that works, but I guess good for him. And I don't know. I don't know if I should be worried. I don't know if I should call a professional. I don't know if I should call an amateur and give him a chance to be a professional because I'm all about the underdog. We're all about the underdog here at Nahoo. I mean, that's what we are to begin with. We're an underground radio show, which is why next week we're going to have a boxing match on the air.
Maybe. I'm going to drive to Harrisburg.
Oh, God. Like, how... That would, like, somehow still be on brand. North American Harvest Update, pay-per-view, one night only. Scrawny white kid versus slightly less scrawny middle-aged white guy.
Perfect.
I wish I had like a ding. There we go.
Wait, what? Why do you want to ding so
Rod, are you looking at this carryover 61.54 at London, instant guarantee 15,000, super high five. You are the super high five master. You hit like 34 in a week.
34 in a week? You hit like 800 yesterday.
I hit 4 in a week.
Yeah, I mean, so you got to nail this last race.
And if
Hope you didn't take all.
And if you don't nail this last race, Rod, I'm sorry, but you're going to be voted off the island.
Yeah, we're getting Terry Wilson next week for London 6.
What I
I'm gonna get him to write them up. Where are you at, Terry? We need help, Terry.
Terry's watching.
Terry understood what I was saying. You obviously go to the tellers to buy racehorses. That's how it works. And then afterwards, you're standing there with all your frat bros, and you're going, you're high-fiving each other. Rod gets the high five because he hit 16,000 on a weeknight. And then you walk away, and then you go find like this old man to buy you booze because that's how college works. And so, like, I don't know how this works. I don't know how that works. This world is so messed up, ladies and gentlemen. This is the time I get on my soapbox because this world is truly a very sad and desolate place. As I say, while dressed up like a man who may or may not deal cocaine at outside of Studio 54, but that's such a dated reference. How dated of a reference is it? It's so dated. I don't have a punchline for that. I'm not quick enough. I'm.
So we only got a couple minutes till the 9th race at London. I'm studying race 10.
Studying.
Another high five that we can give out live on the air.
We've done it before.
Studying.
We have done it before.
Ah, yes. Rod's putting.
I was all in pick 4 here, which I'm out of because I'm an idiot. But looking at the race, I'd like the price on the 1 a little here. Maybe Kelly can go back to back.
I had the 1.
Moves inside. Spaced a little bit better. Raced well.
See, I like the 8 a lot.
Other races.
You like the 8?
Yes.
Okay, we're getting Terry Wilson next week.
Last week, she got trapped in behind quite a few horses. It was like
true.
And
only quite a few though. Like I need a horse to get trapped by more than quite a few to meet my criteria. I need a horse to at least get trapped by a fair amount. A fair amount's more than quite a few, but it's not more than all of them.
The 5 was huge last week and just got picked off the last minute, but it's 6-5.
And that was.
I'm just curious if that horse responds after that race and maybe, doesn't race quite as well because, as shown in the past, that after big races the horse kind of regresses just a hair.
Wait, was that race before or after Jay Harris called into the show?
That was after.
That was after, okay. And that we were responsible for that because we reignited that competitive spirit in all the drivers by having them cuss one another out on the air. Well, we didn't have them do it. They just kind of did it naturally. They're friendly guys. They're macho men. Macho men Randy Savages.
He's dead.
Unfortunately.
Terry picked a favorite in this race.
Okay, Terry, you're not on next week anymore. I'm sorry. We don't pick.
Terry, you ruined it for yourself.
We don't.
You pointed it out to me.
We don't pick favorites on this show. That's specifically why I was picked to be on here. That was such a strange year. The first time I ever did the show, because you guys know this isn't my show, right? I took over this show.
Yes, we know.
The first. Mike, did you say thank God?
Sure.
I mean, this could have been North American Harness Update with. If I say anybody, it's gonna sound demeaning, and that's not a good idea. But I mean, it's not. It's almost as good of an idea as me demeaning myself week in week out on this show. But the very first show I did of North American Harness Update was North America Cup 2012. I think it was 2012. And God, you should have. I was such a prime professional little boy, and now I am.
You got the prim.
Not really. There's nothing really prim about a sports coat. It can be either prim or it could be very sloshy. Very.
Well, you're pulling the prim.
Very dingy. Not necessarily. The hair's kind of messy. The beard is scraggly.
There is no beard. Not on video, anyway.
I mean, I can feel it. Unless my face is just naturally itchy, in which case I think I should call a dermatologist. If anyone listening tonight is a dermatologist, please come over to my house at 1600 East Willenbury, Dunbar, Massachusetts, 64125. I forgot how many numbers are in a zip code. And I doubt that's someone's address, but either way, if it is, you'll have a house call in the morning. 1 minute 20 seconds to post.
I want to shout out John Abbott, who's watching from Alberta or Calgary, wherever you're at.
Calgary is Alberta. Very good, Rod.
It's both.
John Stanton listening from the great country of Calgary.
Why are you talking over me? He's watching from there, recovering after a wreck at Fraser Downs back in February.
Oh.
Speed recovery.
Well, clearly.
He's a buddy of mine, and he's a Blackhawks fan like myself. So,
John.
Yeah, that's very pertinent.
Rod, did the Hawks make the playoffs? Rod?
No.
I'm sorry.
But they have won 3 of the last 6 years.
I know I know.
Won the last 2 though. What? Who?
Who's the one called the Dynasty?
I know I'm the tangential man, but last I checked, this is not North American Blackhawks update. And until they start,
we can talk about the freaking Bee Gees when you're yapping, but we can't talk about hockey.
Because in all honesty, I think people care more about the Bee Gees than the NHL. Get that on a poster. I'm pointing to my.
This race is going.
I'm pointing to my PR team right now. You guys better get to work. They're just slacking around doing nothing. Like it's almost if they are nothing. So
Dan Kahn says, "Woohoo, more Canadians." Canada loves us.
Canadians do love us.
For some reason, like that's my prime audience too. Because I work for Standard Red Canada. Am I allowed to? I'm allowed to say that. I work for Standard Red Canada.
They're off and pacing.
I work for Off and Pacing, and this field is in motion and will soon be off and pacing. They're at the start, and wow, look at that. They're off and pacing. Emotions from the outside leaves out New Boston Town 2 from the inside as they're 5 across the track. Moving to that first turn, New Boston Town overtakes first Kiss at the rail. Daenerys gets away from the inside third. Fourth, Sally DeVee wide of her comes Emotions, or Amy Fowler rather. Emotions ducks in second to last. Uptown Woman in the back of the field as they march onwards to that opening quarter. Amy Fowler going to overtake New Boston Town as Daenerys made a rough break from fourth to the inside now and dropped out to last. 29-2 that opening panel. In front, Amy Fowler, New Boston Town second. First Kiss third. Sally DeVee has inherited fourth as Daenerys made a break down the back stretch. Emotions fifth. Back sixth, then 2 lengths away. Uptown Woman a long ways back then to Daenerys as they turn into the stretch. First time she's back on stride trying to catch the field, led by Amy Fowler. Amy Fowler in front by a length and a quarter. New Boston Town rides the pocket. Inside third, First Kiss now pulling to the outside, flushed out by Sally DeVee off a 101.5, moving into that clubhouse turn. Third over in that flow, Emotions. Uptown Woman still second to last. Daenerys gradually reeling in the field as they move on to the backstretch and to the 3/4 mark. Outside, First Kiss now overtakes Amy Fowler and has a narrow lead. Second over, Sally DeVee up to third now as New Boston Town's locked at the inside. Emotions with a lot of go. She's moving 3 wide for Jay Harris as First Kiss narrowly clears the lead off 3/4 in 1:31.1 around the final turn. There's 5 of them there as leading the way. First Kiss outside, Sally DeVee stalled. 3 wide is Emotions with about a length and a half to make up. Inside then, Amy Fowler and New Boston Town last turning for home. In front, First Kiss. Outside trying to catch Sally DeVee. It's down to these 2. Emotions back third as First Kiss leads Sally DeVee, who's rearing in and out. These 2 to the line, Sally DeVee and First Kiss hit it together. Maybe First Kiss held on from Sally DeVee, then Emotions for third, 2:02 and 3.
Ray's video is way behind ours, so sorry for the delayed commentary.
Yeah, I have no idea why that is.
The one was good though. The one really raced big. I thought, which I thought that might happen.
That would mean that it's another week where it's not until the third leg that I had a horse. I should really they should really make pick fours that are for the last two legs of the bet, because I've been doing really well at those.
Yeah, they make daily.
It's called a double. They call that a double.
They really have thought of everything. This is the future. We live in the future, and it's a magical place. I can go into my pantry right now, and I have jars of apple butter. I never thought to put apples and butter together. We live in a magical time. Who thought those two should go together? I didn't. I would never have. I don't.
Amish 400 years ago.
That's what I mean. This is the future. 400 years ago is the future. It's now.
It's now 10 p.m. I feel as though we need some sort of break so I can quench my thirst. Perhaps take a walk, pound my head into a wall.
Please do that on the air and very violently, because, again, great TV. But when we come back here on North American Harness Update, late pick 4 from the Meadowlands. I'm pointing to the crowd. Late pick 4 for Saturday at the Meadowlands. And after that, we have 3 divisions of the Levy to talk about. And they could possibly be good, but they also could be not so good. It depends if it chalks out or not. But I think it checks out. That's called wordplay, ladies and gentlemen. And stick around for more than just wordplay. I'm talking handicapping. I'm talking whatever else we do here.
Well, if you're watching on Twitter and Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, or our website, you'll get to watch the London live feed for your break. Enjoy.
All right, when we come back with more North American Harness Update on the greatest infrastructure on the planet internet. Oh, wait, no, it is the internet.
Trying to feel so tame for you. Yeah. What we found is not the real thing, but I'm down. In a junkyard. In a junkyard. In a junkyard. I'm still here waiting for you.
Philip Hong, Woodbridge. Charges are laid against a woman for defrauding a Vaughn company. The suspect, a Brampton resident, was a payroll specialist at a local tech company when she illegally diverted funds from employees to her personal bank account. Nazia Zaman is facing charges of fraud over $5,000 and possessions of proceeds from crime. Markham Unionville MPP Michael Chan is retiring from politics. Chan, who has been a long-time veteran in provincial cabinet, cites his health as a reason for stepping aside. Former federal Liberal nomination candidate Juanita Nathan has already expressed interest in replacing him as a candidate. The town of East Gwillimbury has been named the top employee recommended workplace. The Globe and Mail and Morneau Chappelle awarded the town one of only 2 municipal councils and 11 organizations across Canada to receive the award. Mayor Virginia Haxton says the endorsement was not a surprise and that her employees are passionate. The weather, chances of flurries, Pearson +3, North +1. You gotta blame the passionate weather. I'll have more news on SRN1 for now in Philip Hong.
Thank you, Phil, and welcome back to a series of unfortunate events. I am Lemony Snicket, joined by Mike Pribozie, Rod Allums Jr. When we last left off, we're all out of this pick 4, which I'm kind of surprised you guys didn't use the 1 in that last leg.
No, I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's right, because I have the wrong ticket for you written down. Don't reference that, Ray.
Well, I am.
My ticket that you posted on Twitter looks like I'm on drugs.
Yeah. However, that one still hit. So whatever you're taking is good.
Junk.
No, because that been paid.
I've got a high five ticket. I'm going to give on the air.
Race 10, London.
Race 10 at Western Fair. You've got, what do we got? How many minutes?
We have 4 minutes.
4 minutes. So about 5 or 6. So my 20-cent high five with the carryover.
Get your pens and pencils ready. There's going to be a lot of them.
268 with 1, 2, 3, 6, 8 with 1, 2, 3, 6, 8 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9. Wait, did I do that right? No 4. 1, 2, 3, 6, 8, 9 with all.
Okay,
How much is that, Rod?
Yeah.
268 with 1, 2, 6, 8 with 1, 2, 3, 6, 8 with 1, 2, 3, 6, 8, 9 with all. It's $54 for 20 cents.
I don't mind it.
Now it's time for.
I would probably just box 5. I would box the 1, 3, 6, 8, and 9.
The 5 favorites.
Basically.
I like the 2.
Yeah, I don't. I'm just,
Well, when we last
But
left
with the
off,
carryover, it's still going to pay good. Like, I don't mind. I like the 6 the best. If the 6 stays 9-1, it's worth just betting the 6 in the race.
I don't get why. Why do you guys? Well, I mean, I guess the front's been holding, so that's kind of the appeal. But
The 6 is a nice horse too.
I'm not a fan.
Okay, that's all right.
However, when we last left off, aside from us all, yeah, Mike, you're out of the pick 4, right? Are you live?
Yes.
Okay. Because again, I don't got the numbers in front of me, so I'm
Dead because I'm dumb. Dead.
dumb, dead, dead, dumb. Is there really a difference? The answer is yes, because I'm dumb but not dead. But we have the late pick 4 to talk about later. What also happened in the first hour, basically, aside from us being knocked out of the pick 4, everyone listening was indulged with some great stories of my pastime. To which case, I realized that the one fault I had with all of those stories, because clearly people weren't following along, I should have just said, you had to be there. That's the redeeming phrase. Because, like, I get the fact that you guys weren't there, so it's like, I don't get what you're saying. But once you say you had to be there, that's like, oh, okay, now I'm on board. That's a good story. Why is that? Why do we say that? Why do we feel the need to say you had to be there? Maybe you should have had a better story. And I'm talking to you, Ray. I know you're talking to me. I should have had better stories. But North American Harness Update does not encourage the use of the phrase you had to be there. As a harness racing show, we are very adamant about this. And I have nothing more to say on that matter. That said, we are now in hour 2. This is the wind down hour. This is where things get a bit loose. And Rod tries to double his money on a super high 5 with a $54 ticket. In all honesty, if it comes in, it should pay a bit more than half.
My money?
It should pay more than double your money.
Have you met Rod?
Yeah. Actually, I don't think I have. Rod.
$50 ones.
Rod, Ray Cotolo, nice to meet you. Are you here to fix my plumbing?
My top 3 horses, the 2, the 6, and the 8, currently odds. 6-1, 7-1, 4-1.
Now's the time where
So
Ray
if
comes.
this high 5 with any of them winning, and I hit it, pays $100, something's wrong.
Very wrong.
Now it's time for Ray to come up with his patented $1.40 high five. I'll knock it out of the park.
Yeah, you'll knock $1.40 out of your account.
I actually had the right. I was on shift Tuesday night.
Do you think there's that much in there?
I was on shift Tuesday night, and I saw that there was a high 5 carryover at London. There were only 6 horses in the race, so I went, oh God, I gotta play this. If there's a carryover, I gotta play it. So I played $1 straight. I couldn't have been more wrong, but I had the right idea. This is like general horse player talk. No, this is general horse player talk too, because we were talking about this before the show, how sometimes Rod will say, this horse will either be on the lead or from the back. Because, like, what other options are there for this horse? We for some reason, handicappers love to just constantly say the exact opposite to protect themselves. Yeah, you know, I could not have been more wrong, but I had the right idea. No. If you could not have been more wrong, you do not have any semblance of the right idea.
When you have a horse that's coming from the 7 hole,
you're still on that.
You have 2 options with that horse at Western Fair. They're either going to leave and make the lead, or they're going to be sitting dead last.
No, because what about the ones that sit in the middle? You're not covering all your bases. You're leaving yourself vulnerable. You might as well say. You might as well say this horse.
Every single race, you're not getting a hole at Western Fair. There are no holes.
Actually, there are many holes. That's how dirt works. Dirt makes holes, and that's the name of my new book that's coming out. Ray has to come up with a super high 5 here. They're already on the track. He's feeling pressure. 7-2
right
favorite.
Now, there is roughly there's about $10,000 in the pool.
Okay.
With a $15,000 guarantee.
Okay.
So I would get those bets in because there's going to be about 0 takeout.
Yes.
But what
agree? Agree with Rod again.
What does Ray see here? Ray kind of likes the 1 at 7.
Why are you talking in third person?
Because when Ray is thinking, he has to remove himself to look at the race objectively. Not only that, I kind of just started doing it, and I rolled with it. So I'm going to break the first person I just established and return to Ray speaking in the proper tense. So Ray's looking at this race, and Ray really thinks it's wide open. He really does. Because, I mean, there's a 7-2 favorite to begin with. Ray doesn't think the 2 could win, though. Ray thinks the 2's a good underneath horse, not a win horse. He wags his finger to that. But, Rod, Ray wants to know, when you're coming up with this ticket, what was your strategy in assembling it?
I mean,
That was most of the strategy.
you're going to use horses that are going to be close. The 2 is going to be sitting close, not going to be on the lead. Could get a 2-hole trip. The 6 obviously should be leaves every single week. The 8 is in a perfect spot to start. Jay Harris is driving. Horse won first over last week. That one's actually a really strong play for me.
What's wrong with the 3, Rod? Why do you not like 3?
Ray's putting the 3 on top.
I don't mind the 3. I just don't like where he's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's hard to gauge where he's going to be. I mean, this horse's flash speed before was off the layoff last time. Maybe was driven a little conservatively. Could be driven a tad different here and end up in the pocket or something.
But that's the other thing too, is there is a lot of speed here, and this race could get a little bit hectic early.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like him either way. I mean, I like that last race. So
I like the horse. I just don't like the horse's situation in this particular race. I think the horse. She's probably going to be first over here.
Ray has his ticket.
Like it too. I really don't.
Ray has his ticket.
Go ahead.
For $4.80 total. 3 with the 1-6, with the 1-6-8, with the 1-2-4-6-8, with the 1-2-4-6-8.
Okay.
And he's gonna knock
Good
it
idea.
out.
And my ticket is 1, 3, 6, 8, 9 in a box.
That would be for 20 cents, $12?
24.
24, okay. I forgot if it was half or the other. It's $1 would be 12. But it's not
5
$1.
times 4 times 3 times 2 divided by 5 gets you 120.
Mike, you're saying all of these numbers as if I know what you're talking about.
It's just math, Ray.
But,
Come on, how many times have you said that to me?
but instead, I have chopsticks that can also be drums.
They're behind the gate now.
Well, they're going behind the gate for me. I don't know why, but they are behind. I really like Mark Your Page here. I think this race could set up. And with my chopsticks in hand, I will set them down so they're out of my hand and I'm not distracted. It's time for a grade A 80% lean meat race call. 2-1 favorite, the 6. 2-1 favorite, the 6 Apple Tart Hanover. Second choice, it's 7-2, the 1 Rousey Ronda. Third choice, 4-1, the 3 Mark Your Page. Final from London at the start, and it's off from the outside. Apple Tart Hanover's leaving. Mark Your Page to the inside, and in between Hoosier Lucky Lady from the rail. Rousey Ronda out too as they're spread 4 across the track around that first turn. AMAC trying to send Apple Tart Hanover now 3 wide as Rousey Ronda sprints out for the lead. Getting the pocket, Mark Your Page from the second tier. Putnam's Fire gets away 4th. Dropping into 5th, Hoosier Lucky Lady in front of Northern Lawrence 6th. Then it's back to As Brave as My Mama, followed by, towards the back of the pack, Fern Hill Bella, and last of all is a horse that I can't see, Southfield Spirit. Oh, by the opening quarter, Rousey Ronda in front. Mark Your Page in the pocket. Outside, parked out, Apple Tart Hanover. Then at the inside, Putnam's Fire's 4th as they turn into the stretch first time. Off the rail and moving. Here comes As Brave as My Mama, rather Fern Hill Bella on cover now 3 wide as Apple Tart Hanover's dropping back. Looking for room and looking to pop out. Putnam's Fire. Jay Harris aggressive with her. And here comes a bum rush to the half from Fern Hill Bella towards the lead after Rousey Ronda as they circle into that turn. Fern Hill Bella, the new leader, in second. Now Rousey Ronda outside Putnam's Fire third with about 3 lengths to make up. Mark Your Page locked in fourth as they move on to the backstretch. Chasing Fern Hill Bella at 6-1. Putnam's Fire wide of Rousey Ronda up to take second. Out and moving Northern Lauren then to the inside locked in. Mark Your Page nowhere to go as they move on to 3/4. It's Fern Hill Bella reeling her in slowly. Putnam's Fire, but she's still 4.5 lengths away as they move around that final turn. It is Scott Young and Fern Hill Bella, the 2 second-tier horses, turn for home within 4 lengths of each other. Then third is Brave as My Mama, but they come on down to the final 16th. It's Fern Hill Bella just annihilating them. It was over from the half, and it's over now. Fern Hill Bella wins by 4. Putnam's Fire second from as Brave as My Mama. Then Northern Lauren for 5th. We'll see. 206 and 4. I could not see who was 5th. Was that Mark Your Page 5th? I think it was Mark Your Page.
No, it's fell apart there.
That race did not turn out how I was expecting. Did not.
It was 9, 8, 4, 7.
7? I thought it was 2.
Or 2, and then I think 7 was 5th.
The 7.
Oh, I can't see the number either.
9, 8, 4, 2. Let's see here. No, that's the 3. That's Scott Coulter. That's the 3. Now, if you flip around some of Rod's numbers, that's another high five for him. Congratulations. Rod, you're just on fire with these.
Did you have it, Rod?
I didn't want a ticket, and it didn't hit, so.
See, all you had to do is just take the horses Rod wanted for 4th and put them up to 1st. You had 2nd clear. You move the all to 3rd, and then you take the other 2, and then you flip them to 4th and 5th, and you have it. That's all you had to do.
That was a great drive, though, by Young in that race. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is going to pay big, too. This is going to be a big ticket.
It was such a good drive that I feel like I need to leave this show and fulfill my dream of being a jockey. I mean, a harness driver. Don't get those two mixed up.
Let's do actual work for once. Let's go.
After 5 years of this show, tonight's the first night we're actually going to do real work. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all because of the sports coat. Everything has changed. The paradigms have shifted. Mercury, as a matter of fact, has finally left retrograde. It's been 40 years, but it's finally out. We can return to what we want. I'm doing the segue. We can return to what it is we love to do, or at least make you think we love to do, or trick ourselves into thinking we love to do. Meadowlands Racetrack, Saturday late pick 4. Starts with race number 8, as it does every race night, and this pick 4 has a $50,000 guaranteed pool, and you guys apparently have very little patience, and then I'm going to get into it. So let's just jump into it. So this pick 4 starts with race number 8, and this is the opening preliminary of, I believe, the What a Baron. It is the What a Baron, and let me tell you, what a Baron he was. He was more than any of the Barons. Better than the Red Baron. That's right, the frozen pizza that has made up 5 of the 7 dinners I've had this week. And I'm not saying that as if I'm proud. I'm saying that as a plea for help. But Mike, I'm saying to you, what do you see here in this opening leg? Because this is a fairly tough race.
I'm 5 deep, leg 1. Outside is where I'm looking initially. I like the 6 best Winsong Leo. Has won 2 in a row for Burke. Has been racing very well at Yonkers. Comes here to the big track and, has a 51-3 mark at Mohawk, so that should be no issue. Gets Marone. I feel like that this horse is probably one of the sharper ones in an upper class in this race. The 7 Phoenix Warrior has, won 3 out of 4 at the Meadows in the preferred. This horse came off a couple-month layoff to, win from the 8 hole there in the top class. That's really a huge effort. This horse just keeps getting better. The big track will not hurt. I think that horse is a must-use at a price. The 8, this horse has won 2 in a row. Has kicked home very well both times. 25-3 last time. Really never looked like a loser. Is coming up. The problem is going to be class for this one. And then I'm going to use the inside too. Durrell, this horse won at 36-1 last time. Looked very good doing it though. Beat Griffin Hanover, who had a perfect trip. Lawrencetown Beach. Those are nice horses. Horses that would be good in here. And then the 2, Makasi. This is Pat LaChance. Comes up back from Yonkers. Has had terrible posts. And, this horse has a decent record on the big track also. Has 7 wins. Trying to close at Yonkers is difficult. Comes to the bigger track is going to be a price. I'll use that one also. 1, 2, 6, 7, and 8.
Now, Rod, Mike used a lot of numbers, and that says to me this is a wide-open race. Do you have an equal amount of numbers to prove that?
No, but I'm pretty close. I'll start with the 1, Doral. 26-2 kicker last time at huge odds. This is a different type of class for this horse, but I think this horse fits well, especially with the rail. Keeps McCarthy on. He's 2 for 2 on this one, so the move inside isn't going to hurt either. I think this horse is a must-use and probably not going to be 6-1 like the warning line says. The 3, Normandy Beach, I'm going to throw this one in. Second start since November 30th. Horse raced really well in the preferred at Dover. Dover is a fast track, but I think this horse, being that it's second start, he should be tight, and this is a drop in class. So I expect this horse to be even better and moving to the big track. It was a decent qualifier, and I think the horse fits in this race. The 6, Winsong Leo, coming from Yonkers, is probably going to be the favorite in this race, just based on his last 2 miles. Big move, third quarter move last time, and won easily in 53 and a piece against non-winners of 20,000, and 5 for 10 this year. Tough not to use this one. And then the 8, Barima. I don't really have anything else to add. 25-3, home last time. Winner 2 in a row and just got beat a neck 3 back. So this one is real sharp right now. 1, 3, 6, 8.
Now you see, I didn't really think I had to go too deep because you can really kind of look at these horses' forms and go, okay. And that's exactly how I went. And as for the Dover being a fast track comment, I mean, in terms of 5/8 miles, it's not as fast as Pocono. Pocono is the fastest 5/8 in this country. They did not pay me to say that. They just have the record to prove it. But I don't really agree with that necessarily, but that really doesn't matter pertaining to this analysis because I start with Durrell. I love this horse. I absolutely adore this horse. Just purely for the fact that he's been moving up in class and he's still racing very well. 2 starts back, was aggressive on the front, prompted a fast pace, still held on to win by a head as the favorite. That was against numbers of 8,500, all right, but he upped his game. 36-1, albeit gets a perfect trip, he still capitalizes, comes home in 26 and change. He seems to just be in really sharp form right now, and I would expect nothing less from him coming into this series. He definitely seems like he belongs, and hopefully, he's a decent price. Winsong Leo's fairly obvious, coming off of 2 straight wins and moving to the bigger track, so there's not much more to add about him. Third horse I used then for a bit of a price, the 7 Phoenix Warrior. Now I understand people might not like horses shipping from the Meadows ever since the medical fiasco that they had with herpes back a few months ago, but I like the fact that this horse came first start back and won the preferred there at 14-1 coming from off the pace, especially since that was the level he usually was doing fairly well at, and before the quarantine, he was much more aggressive, so I'm expecting a bit of improvement second time out. They might put him more into play, even though he has an outside post, just because he has the start under his belt, and he's a decent price. He's definitely going to be a decent price shipping in from the Meadows, so he's probably worth a use just for those reasons. I'm 167 in the opening leg. Second leg of this sequence comes after the first. Second leg, same as the first. It doesn't work like when you sing songs, but this second leg is a hours of 8,500 in their last 5 starts. We have 1, 4, 8, 9 horses going postward here, including Jaxer Lucky 2, the horse that I just so adore after last week. And but Mike, for you don't seem to be on board with him, but you're on board with 3 others.
3 deep. The 3 Clouseau Hanover. Perfect trip last time, but that was a fast race. And this horse is going to be up front again. I see a similar trip here, so he's a must-use for me. He's getting better. The 5 More Dragon, totally misdriven in that G-Notes final. Was basically outside the whole way, moving too late, was 2-5, and just couldn't reach. I like this horse's last 2 races. This is a bit of a step up, but I feel like this horse can handle it with the speed, and then gets Brett Miller also, and that's not going to hurt. And then the 6 Bad Gamer came out of the Clouseau Hanover race last time. Now, this horse never really had to leave the rail, but was flying late. Flew home in 26. This horse, the closer, needs a little bit of a setup, but I think that it's starting to sharpen up a little, and also will be a price 3, 5, and 6.
3, 5, and 6 for Mike. Rod, you were so close to being that way, but also so far.
Yeah, I'm only using one of those. The 6 Bad Gamer. I throw him on. Last time missed 3 weeks. Raced really, really well, being off 3 weeks. He looks like a trip horse. He does pretty well when he does get a decent steer around the track, and this is his 3rd start at the Meadowlands this year. I expect a game effort from him, and I think this is a decent spot for this type of horse, especially one that doesn't really leave the gate that well. Then the 7 Sir Pugsley. This one is another one that should be coming from off the pace. Had 2 decent races over Pocono. The last one, first over. That's not this horse's game. He usually sits the rail and just sucks along. So I think if this one follows up some live cover, could definitely be heard from late in the mile, and I think should be following the 6 and probably following the 5 as well. So these 2 I think could get the setup in this race. So I'm going 6 and 7.
Now, not to be gloated, if anything, more to be bloated after the dinner I had tonight. Bad Gamer, 2 starts back. I used him in the pick 4. Almost had him at 31-1, and here he is now. He's really good. I'm not saying that I have the eyes of a lord. All right, I'm not saying that I am a prophet of handicapping. I'm just
Good in that race, though. I agree.
I'm just saying I got a keen eye. And it's a coincidence that I say that because Keeneland opened this week. And go back to the first hour for an enthralling story about that. I'm 3 deep here. I also use Bad Gamer. He should improve second time off the 6 scratch. I don't care where he draws. This horse, just if he gets dragged into the mix, he should be decent. However, he might be a bit of a shorter price this time around. And the other 2 I throw on, Clouseau Hanover is pretty obvious, returning to this level he won at last time, so there's not much more to add to him. And I throw on the 2, Indy Ingot, who's been racing from off the pace at Pocono and has been racing decently since shipping up from Pompano. So I like the fact that he has a couple starts under his belt coming from Florida into Pennsylvania, which, I mean, like, climate-wise, there's no difference. And now he draws inside. He comes to a track that, isn't so front-favoring. He might benefit from that. I don't know. I'm conjecturing here. I'm throwing out ideas so I can get possible prices. Is that okay? I don't know. I'm getting angry at you. I'm a kind soul. I'm a good-hearted boy, and that's why I'm 2-3-6 in the second leg. Third leg is race number 10. It's the first preliminary of the Burning Point. A $15,000 purse. There's 10 horses lining up here. And Mike, you felt the need to take 3 of them.
Yeah, 3 in here also. And this is mostly a class play. The 5 and 7 look very similar. The 5 Valuable Arts. The 7 Better Have Another. Both racing in Philly Mare Opens at Dover. The last several weeks. And the 7's, it's Burke. It's won 4 times this year. Had the 8-hole last time at Dover, which is absolute graveness. No chance whatsoever there. Gets the bigger track, gets Brett Miller. Huge chance. Likely going to be the favorite. The 5 Valuable Art. The thing about this one is, she has a little more speed than the 7 does. The 7's typically rallying. This one will be up closer early. Plus with Callahan, I think, will be up there, and has been racing in the same races and doing well, making money. This is more class than anything as far as using those 2. And then I'm going to try the 4, Princess Fabulosa. Raced 8 times last year, very lightly raced, but still won $80,000. This horse has made almost $200,000 in 25 lifetime starts. I was racing Philly Mare Opens at Yonkers back in September of last year and racing very well. Comes off the qualifier, and it was fine. 55-3 there. Came home in 28. There's really, this horse is going to be lightly raced, but she always shows up whenever she's in. And, the only real downside is get Steve Smith. So you're going to get a price. I'm curious to see how well this horse does in this leg. Maybe better next week, but I'm going to use it anyway. 4, 5, and 7.
Now, Rod, as I kind of wind down in tone of voice to my NPR style, you agree with the 5 and the 7. However, you got your mindset elsewhere with 2 more.
Yeah, I agree with Mike on the 5 and 7. Those two, just from recent races anyway, they've been facing some pretty tough company at Dover, and they're right there every week with those. So I think you have to use them. And then I'm going to throw in the 6, OK Heavenly. Not a very good start last week, but that was off a really slow half. Had no chance to make up ground in there. And this is a race that looks like maybe there could be some more early speed. If they get down the half enough, this one is going to be coming late. She needs that faster pace up front because she is a strict closer. So
She's been hanging very badly, though.
She has, but
like a witch.
But she needs, she's one of those horses. She has to have her setup. If she doesn't have it, she doesn't get there. And it's very possible tomorrow that her setup happens. So I'm using it. I'm using her, hoping that that setup happens, and she's going to be a decent price tomorrow. Finally, the 8, Kiss Me on the Beach. I throw this one on. Trainer change from Danny Collins to Julie Miller. Qualified really well. When was it? 2 weeks ago at the Meadowlands. This one, probably could have went a lot more in that qualifier. Just kind of sat there. Made over 100,000 last year. This horse is capable and is very fast and raced against some, tough foes. The Ohio Filly Mare Open Circuit is pretty stout, especially late summer at Scioto. You get some pretty tough horses in there. And, this one was 1, 2, 3 every week. The only question is the horse ready to win off of the qualifier? I guess we'll see. I'm going to throw her on just in case. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Now, Rod, I really loved your little Washington Post op-ed you just gave here on why you should use the 6 and the 8. That said, I'm on board with Mike, except I'm pretty straightforward. This is a class race, 5-7, nothing else. None of these other horses are going to do that well. It's going to be 5-7.
Yeah, I'll just go chalk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I'm going more prices elsewhere, but I don't see any more prices in this race. You see when I get defensive, I break into my Brooklyn. You don't want me to break into my Brooklyn, which sounds like an absurdist crime movie. Break into my Brooklyn, starring who would be it? Jonathan Winters. He can't be in that. He's dead. Damn it. But I'm 5'7" in this. Actually, I'm 6 foot, but I'm 5'7" in this race. And I have nothing else to add besides class, because that's what's going to determine. That's what this. There's nothing else you need to know about this race until one other horse wins. In which case, I didn't say any of what I just said, just so I could be right. Last race, I thought this was the hardest race of the sequence because I struggled to find anything. This is an hours at 3,500, so you can easily tell it's the best horses on the grounds. And Mike, starting with you seem to just kind of gravitate towards the 3 probable betting favorites.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to offer as far as being clever in the race. It's extremely difficult, and anything could really jump up and win. It wouldn't necessarily surprise me. I'm 3 deep, going to use the 2, the Fire Within. Has that terrible post, moves inside. Raced against a tougher level, of these types of horses with City Hall, Art History, Northern Virgin. Those are better than these horses. 2 back. Had outside posts against Work and Play Hard. I feel like that this horse has a good chance with the post switch. The 4, Spirit of Truth. This horse raced in similar spots. Again, moves inside a little bit. Personally, I just use this horse because I hate most of the others and I think can be closer early. It could shake loose late. Then the 5, Rockin' the Hill. It's been racing at Pocono. This horse is better than what he's shown this year. It really has nothing to show for those 8 starts, but those races at Pocono at least maybe woke up a little, did take bets, draws well. I'm gonna use him. 2, 4, 5.
Mike, you're not gonna use, or not Mike, Rod, you're not gonna use him.
No, I'm just going 2-4 here. The 2 draws inside, coming off a pretty decent race, and same class. Got shuffled last week. Start before just had no chance. I really don't have too much to add onto what Mike said. The 4, Spirit of Truth. This one is probably going to take too much money, to be honest, but I think is a must-use in this spot. It's one of those races where you can try to strut out and beat some horses, but to me, I just see the chalks, the 2 and the 4 here. I don't see very much. I'm not going to use Steve Smith just because he is winning at a 3% clip. So, so he can beat me, I guess. 2 and 4.
Agree with the 2, because I use the 2, mostly for the post reasons. Draws inside instead of being outside, and last I checked, according to how circles work, outside is the longest distance from a circle than the inside. And we could do a bit of a diagram, but we don't have much time, so I'll just trust my word for it. That said, there's one horse that really intrigued me on the past performances, and I felt like I needed to take a shot with him because this race is so awful. It's so terrible, and I don't even like Spirit of Truth or whoever that 5 Rock on the Hill. I can't even get myself to use them. So I go to the inside with Rebel Jet. 80-1 last time, debuting here at the Meadowlands off 17 days, shipping up from Pompano Park. Comes into the bottom level, rides the rail, gets shuffled to last, but still kind of kicks home. Comes home in 27-4 to finish 6th. Draws the rail this time around. I have a sinking suspicion. Second time up here with a start under his belt. I keep saying start under his belt. I need a new phrase. With a mile in his girder. Started with a mile in his girder. With a trip under his hip. With this
Girder.
This is the epitome. Wait, no. Wait, is a girder an actual article of clothing, or am I thinking of the steel beam?
Garter.
You're thinking of like girdle, maybe.
I'm thinking girdle.
Thinking garter, like garter belt that strippers have.
No, I was saying girder like a steel beam.
Girder.
But
God help us. What are we doing?
I ask myself that every morning I get out of bed. But I feel Rebel Jet might be able to improve second time out in the Northeast. Will be a price, and if anything else wins this race, I'm gonna quit until the Vernon show. When I come back, it's gonna be heavily publicized. It's gonna be the King is back in town, and then I'm gonna have my championship belt on, and of course I'm gonna be wearing the sports coat.
No, I'm the one that has the belt. Forget it.
Yeah, but Mike, let's be honest. You kind of put on a couple pounds, so it would fit me better. It would fit me
I
better.
haven't put on any pounds. I can still run you straight into the ground. No.
I mean, I went and got some British currency the other day, so if anything, I'm up a couple pounds. So, did he really just say that? Did he also make a Salem witch trials joke earlier? This is my ticket for the Big Four. For 50 cents, I'm 167 with 236 with 57 with 12. $18 for 50 cents. Mike, your ticket.
1, 2, 6, 7, 8 with 3, 5, 6 with 4, 5, 7 with 2, 4, 5. It's $67.50 for 50 cents. I will be playing.
I need to sample that because that was a nice hip hop beat. And Rod, I'm sorry, but your Mortal Kombat thing keeps getting beat out by just the zingers that keep flowing through my consciousness. Like I said, my mind is a boulder rolling downhill. And Rod is playing Rocket League while doing the show. But Rod, your ticket.
1, 3, 6, 8 with 6, 7 with 5, 6, 7, 8 with 2, 4. That's $32
for 50 cents. That said, one more article on the agenda. I do mean article because this entire show has for some reason been about clothing. This is the clothing episode of North American Artist Update. North American Versace update coming the fall of 2019, so keep a lookout for that. I hope someone is keeping record of all of the shows that I've been saying I'm going to premiere, because one day that time I'm just arbitrarily coming up with is going to come up, and I'm going to be held responsible for not starting North American Furnace update, North American Versace update, North American Bottled Water update. And it's really gonna be the downfall of my career because I spread myself too thin trying to produce all these shows. I'm not Judd Apatow. I don't have wings like him. I can't be just making stuff left and right. But one thing I can do, I can drink from this water. I can speak words. I can also confuse crowds very easily. But I can also segue into the Levy. Levy this to me, ladies and gentlemen. How many more times is he going to say that? The fact that Frank Drucker has not said that is actually a crime against humanity. And if he did say that, I would feel slightly violated, but that's besides the point. The point here is, Frank, I have better hair than you. Just let's face it. Frank, let's face it. You can't top.
Oh, that's what the hair's about.
You can't. I've secretly only been growing this to out Drucker Frank Drucker. But it's really futile because you can't out Drucker the Drucker. You can't out Frank the Drucker. It's a oh wait, what's the name of the
Somebody needs to stick their foot in your Drucker.
what's the that sounds like a threat. There's a movie about the National Lampoon on Netflix. It's not a series of unfortunate events. It's a cruel and a kind and futile gesture. I think it's a kind and futile gesture. It's a decent movie. RogerEbert.com didn't like it, but I like a couple horses in the Levy. Bam! I'm so good at this. I think this is why I get paid to do this. He gets paid to do this? Jesus Christ. 7 horses. I'm not a cartoon, Rod. You gotta give me a more appropriate sound effect than a Jack in the Box. I need something like the MGM tiger fist fighting with a raccoon. That's what I need.
Crickets.
No, the crickets are kind of an old bit now. They are I think they're like 3 years old at this point.
I think you missed that bit, Rod. Like Ray had a cricket that was cricketing the entire show.
And
show after show after show.
he was one of the best co-hosts we've ever had. Like of the 4 we've had, he was probably number 2. I won't say he was number 1, but he was number 2.
Me, but that's obvious.
But, well, Mike, if you're such a good co-host then, which, I mean, I believe you are, but I got to also prove it to all of our loyal fans. This first leg of the Levy, bit of a legend, post 2. He's going to be a heavy favorite from post 2. He had post 6 last time and he raced fairly well. But do you see a possibility of an upset, or does it just go to the legend?
I like him quite a bit in here. It's hard not to. I mean, I think he's been one of the best horses in the series so far. The first race, he was first up and flew right by Missile J. That was huge. Then he had the 7-hole, and I thought raced exceptionally well in a race he had absolutely no chance in, and a race that Dr. J. Hanover crushed. Then last time he was first up again, and they actually bet him into Dr. J. Hanover, who was able to walk it again in a 58.5, and he was beat half a length, and he looked like he was going by halfway through, down the stretch. I don't see anything in here that can beat him, especially off this post. I mean, there really should be no reason why he's not on the front. He got a very weak spot. A lot of these horses really aren't racing very well. And, if you get even money on the horse, I think it's a gift. And I don't like chalk, but you have to be honest with yourself and say that this horse is the sharpest of this bunch. And that's what I think.
You got to go into the powder room. You got to slam your hands on the counter, and then you got to start the sink, and then grab some of the water out of the faucet, smack your face a touch, and look at yourself. You got to really ask, is it worth it? Mike says yes, but Rod, do you?
No, I'm going to go with a bomber here. The 4, Change Stride.
Damn it, that's my horse.
Going Valley to Yannick tomorrow. Horse raced really well from the 8-hole. Look at this horse's post the last 6-7 starts. 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 6, 8. Just brutal draws for this horse. He draws inside finally, gets Yannick. I think he might fire Even if he doesn't,
But
he's
can
going
he
to
win?
close
I mean,
enough.
can you really expect this horse to win this?
Rod,
race?
why'd you give my
Yeah.
phone number out on the air?
Yes. I think this horse can win this race because, bit of a legend. Although he's good, he's not the same as he was last year.
I think he's been unbelievable in these races.
No, he's been okay. He's been okay.
He won the first leg and lost to a horse that walked on the front 2 in a row.
Live cover. That's the comment. He had live cover, so that helped.
I don't care what the comment is. I watched it with my own 2 damn eyes.
But Mike, then
the horse was 150 to 1 last time.
But then why do we have the comments?
Go ahead.
I would bet that Change Stride goes off less than 10 to 1.
I know, which is criminal.
I think that may have made my appendix burst. That said, I mean, I kind of liked Change Stride for a price. I don't get how you go from 115 to 1 to 10 to 1. I mean, but
you'll see it. It's going to be less than that.
Think about this. This horse from the 8 hole was 115 to 1. 7 hole, 130 to 1. 6 hole, 70 to 1.
Yeah, I'm noticing a bell
Bartlett
curve.
was on at even money from the 6 hole, and he raced like crap. But
That really makes me confident then.
this horse is better than he has been, and he's been drawn absolutely terrible.
Terribly.
But the problem is
adverb.
everybody's going to see those things, and you're going to really take a hit on the price. I mean, I get it, but I feel like that, that stuff is ridiculously obvious in a race that you're trying to find something.
What about Chumley?
I just am not a fan.
I mean, I watched his first race, and he looked like he was struggling to figure out which leg goes in front of the other. But he draws well this time. He's bound to get a pocket trip. But then again, is that necessarily the spot you want to be in? I think Change Stride could possibly work out a second over trip, as he should. That's the approach he should take here. This horse would die on the lead. But that said, he's going to be a better price than Chumley, which is kind of why I'm gravitating towards him. But then at the same time, let's look elsewhere. Killer Martini. Third last time off a 6 scratch. That's not a bad race, albeit he might have sprinted. He might have sprinted home more because he was chasing horses, but he still raced very well and much better than he did first time out in the series. He could possibly be a decent price too if he's ignored.
I don't mind him because he had no chance to catch the top 2 last time. He got what he was going to get, and that's okay. He's just okay for me. I mean, he's made money. I just don't see him winning. Everything would have to go perfect for him to win. They would all have to go and fall down, and then he might have a chance.
It definitely does seem like this race kind of goes through a bit of a legend, which that said, you could probably work out some decent exotics with some bombs underneath, including Change Stride or Killer Martini. But we all agree that Long Live Rock is not going to win. So the next race is the second division. It's race number 8. And for some reason, there's this long string of races where the horses that draw the inside are probably the best horses in the race. This one in particular, somewhere in LA, draws the rail off a win in the series. And Rock and Ron has the 3. This race, there were 2 ways I saw this race playing. Mike, I feel like you're on board with somewhere in LA, but I feel like it really depends on what Missile J does in this race. If he goes to the leader, sets off the pace.
There. I don't mind someone in LA. Rock and Ron's raced very well, but he's going to have to toe the line again, and I'm not sure that, he kind of can go 2-3 races in a row, and then he can fall off a little.
Mm-hmm.
So that disturbs me. I think this race could set up for a closer. I don't mind the 7, Luciano, who I feel like has raced well, albeit from inside posts.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to go in here, especially if Missile J goes, Evening of Pleasure goes, even though he sat last time. I don't think they're going to do that again. The 1's got to go. The 3's got to go. If they can get that heavy pace up front and the 7 can get a covered up trip, I feel like he's racing well enough to get a big piece of the ticket. I do like the 1 just because of the draw, and I feel like that he likes it here. He's racing well, and he stands, I think, more to gain from the trip than the 3. Who's going to have to come along like he did with Western Fame last time. He's going to take all the heat. It's just a matter of who's going to get out. I would try to structure my tickets around the 1 and the 7.
I mean, I don't know if Missile J is going to try and go for the front or off the pace, because to me it seems like he'd want to come from off the pace, given some of the
You
speed.
never know what he's going to do with the horse.
But Rod, for you, I'm particularly interested in Evening of Pleasure. I feel like he's not going to drop back as much as he did last time, like Mike said. And if he doesn't do that, given his last race, which isn't bad at all, he could be a decent price here that performs very well.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem is the 8-hole, obviously. But aside from the 8-hole, this horse has early speed. He can go if he wants to. I just don't think he's going to go, based on the fact that there is a lot of early speed in this race inside of him. Somewhere in LA, especially with the two favorites, somewhere in LA and Rock and Ron, they're both speed heavy. This is the race I think is probably going to be a lineup race, and it's going to come favorite. Even if Missile J goes, he's going to be a third favorite, so it'll be favorite. That's just how I see this one setting up.
Well, I feel like if you're going to be on board with Luciano, for instance, then you've got to like Evening of Pleasure, given the fact that Evening of Pleasure has a better late kick than Luciano and will probably be an equal price. But even if
typically wins whenever he can control things and grind, and that's not the way he's going to be able to win this race.
But still, I mean, that last race still he came home decently, and that's the part that I'm noting. Like, and not only that, all of the races that he's won stakes wise have been from in the pocket or off the pace.
He's good right now. I agree with you. I don't know what he's going to do. I would rather see him blast to set the race up for something chaotic.
Well, I mean, if he blasts, someone's going to overtake him. That someone would probably be Rock and Ron, but that's all semantical to the point. And the other thing is that if Missile J is like 4-1 for some reason from the 6 hole, in all honesty, that's also a good bet too. Missile J's been racing very well. Given that, one more division to talk about, and this is Makitso from the rail. He dropped anchor last week after being caught in the pocket. Seemed like he kind of choked down or just didn't have it. It was one of the two, because it's really hard to get out of the pocket nowadays since they got rid of the passing lane. But he's still the morning line favorite. And Mike, I felt that this could be this race could probably be the highest payoff of all of them. I don't know if you see something similar.
He was awful last week. Just, I don't even know what happened. Just no good. And you can't take him again off that race. I like Always at My Place. Really no chance the last two races. Gets a much better setup in here, especially with no Dr. J. Hanover in the race. I feel like a blast is coming, depending on what the one does, but I don't trust him whatsoever. So Brennan's going to go here, hopefully control things. And then I like Better Memories, who has raced very well. Those three races there is nothing wrong with any of them. This horse tries every time, gets an outside post. You're going to get a price again. Now gets T-Trick. This horse, it's hard to argue with his form. And he's going to be dangerous in the final if he draws well, I think. So I would structure around 3 and 7.
Now, this is kind of funny because this almost feels like a role reversal for anyone who followed the show last season, but I'll save that for after Rod adds his insight to this.
I know where you're going.
Where am I going?
And I'm going there.
Are we both on Max Jackpot?
Yes.
Who I took every race last year.
I hated him in every race last year.
We were on this horse since, May of last year?
See, but I had him when he won and paid $90.
Oh, that's right. That was in the North America Cup consolation.
Anyway, go ahead.
I'm using him.
I like him here.
I'm not saying key off this horse or anything like that. Use him. He's got an inside post, second off the layoff. This horse should improve, and he raced pretty well last week. I think you're going to see a pretty decent effort out of him tomorrow. And then the other price is the 4, who I needed last week at 73-1, was loaded with pace late in the mile, had nowhere to go. He come up the inside and was just running him over at the wire. I know you remember that, Mike.
Yeah, loaded I think is a strong word, but yes, he was live. I agree, he was live. Very live.
He had a lot to go, so I'm going to use that one as well. But other than those two, I think you really can go any direction in this race and not throw yourself out for any type of ticket.
Any direction, no doubt. North, south, east, west, northeast, northeast, north, southwest, east, west, west, north, south, or even the more popular South by Southwest. All of that over the last 2 hours of North American Harness Update. That's the end of it. We finished. This is it. We're done. Next week on the show, April 13th, it's going to be final leg of the Levy. It's going to be more London, more Meadowlands, and next week is 1 week before our Vernon show, live at Vernon Downs. We cannot emphasize this enough. Live from Vernon Downs. We mean live. All three of us are going to be there, and you will see us.
Big surprises coming at that show.
Never know.
You will see us not only on our video feed, but on the live race feed. It's part of our initiative. We're playing around with stuff. We're trying our hardest to innovate harness racing media. And if my presence there doesn't say that enough, then...
The jacket does.
Well, I was purposely kind of mouthing off words, but you can't see that on radio because then it says nothing. But all of that is for later. For now, make sure you check out NahooPicks.com. You'll find racing analysis from these two guys, Mike Pribozie, Rod Allums Jr., for every race night and race day from Western Fair, the Meadowlands, and Woodbine, soon to be Woodbine at Mohawk Park. The last harness race at Woodbine goes on Monday, April 9th at around probably 10:15 p.m. or something like that. I don't know why the time is specific, but last night of live racing in Toronto is April 9th. Permanently moves to Campbellville the 13th. I think, no, it would be the 12th. It would be the 12th. Permanent.
13th.
Oh, it would be the 13th. Okay. Opening night at Woodbine at Mohawk Park is April 13th, and it still sounds like a Broadway musical. Woodbine at Mohawk Park. But until then, I have been Ray Cotolo. They're Mike Pribozie and Rod Allums Jr. And when you look at the clock, what time does it say? And when you're looking at it, do you remember? Do I need to change the batteries?
Alicia.